Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? It's your boy X the Creator. Hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful Monday today. Having a happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day, right? It is the first official Monday movie series, right? So I did one last week. If you haven't checked it out, go ahead and click that playlist and watch a little bit, though. But essentially, what this is going to be about is going to be comparing a few movies, going over a few movies, and how those two movies might kind of bring some similarities to our reality, right? So the movies we have here today that I'm gonna go over is the Purge series and also Leave the World Behind. Okay, so the Purge series has the Purge Anarchy, the Purge Election Year, the First Purge, and the Forever Purge. Okay, now as far as those goes, we have I pretty much put them all in the same bucket. They're all about the same thing essentially, though. So, essentially, what the purge is about um, these people, the world goes in complete chaos. It's like just blackout. One day, all law. There's no laws. No. There is no. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, come on. I had a brain fart. There, nothing is legal. Everything is legal. I'm sorry. That's the word I'm looking for. Everything is legal, right? Nothing is illegal. So all crimes are just, quote unquote, are just. You won't get arrested. If something happened, you get shot, killed, whatever. Hey, you can call the ambulance, the police. They ain't coming to help you out, right? So everything goes in the purge, right? So I put them all in the same bucket. And as far as Leave the World Behind goes, what this one is about a family initially going out to out in the woods, and this is not even your normal woods like your wood house or a cabin house. It's not even a cabin house. Matter of fact, this house nice. I mean, like a getaway resort you find somewhere overseas or over there on the beach or something like that, though. But it's a nice house. You can see the dimensions of it, though. It looks pretty nice. But this family, they trying to get away from like the city life, go out in the woods with the family, essentially try to slow down from a fast-paced lifestyle, get away from that city, and get out into like the more rural areas. And they come to meet the owner. The owner's name is GH. Him and his daughter Ruth. They came out to that house unannounced, and it felt weird out the gate. First of all, when he just came out the house, because he's the owner and he's letting them stay in his so-called house while they were on vacation, right? So the people that was vacationing, right? A man, I think the guy's name was Clay, and their two kids. They were out just on a vacation, trying to get away from reality for a little bit. And GH and Ruth, his daughter, came to stay with him for a little bit, though. So out the gate, it seemed kind of odd to me. I was like, I don't know about this dude. You know what I mean? So I wanted to be able to touch on these two movies and how they kind of coexist with our reality here. So going back to the all crimes with the Purge collection, right? Um, Essentially, with this happening, people isolate themselves, right? They isolate themselves in the Purge, and they isolate themselves when stuff starts happening in Leave the World Behind. I'm not gonna ruin it for you guys if you haven't seen the movie. You should go watch it. All both of them good movies. Um, so they essentially start to isolate themselves, right? And especially with the Purge, because there's no crime, like everything is legal, so people can run up on you, shoot you. People actually go out there. Either you stick to yourself, you might team up with some people. You know what I mean? You might go out there on a hunt, go hunt some people down. Somebody did you dirty back, some years ago. They might hunt you down. You know what I mean? Or some people do it for fun, do it for recreation. You know what I mean? They might go out there. You know what? Let's see what we can do. So they try to patrol the streets. It's almost like martial law to an extent, except it's just it's the people, not the government. Right? The people out there governing themselves. They doing whatever they want to. You know what I mean? And then so that's with like the Purge and all, and then bringing it to Leave the World Behind. We'll Leave the World Behind towards the end of the movie, GH brings up three points. I just turned on face track. I didn't know this would turn on face track when I did like this. That's actually pretty cool. It's another little feature. But let's do this real quick. So GH touched on 3 key points. Right? The first one was communication. And with the communication, he was talking about how, because he worked for some higher up, I don't really know who he worked for, but he had some information. It was almost like he was around a certain group of people that was at the higher ups of essentially of the leaders of the country. They can be able to know certain information before it gets to the mass, right? So he was close to the people at those seats, right? So he mentioned that he had some information, but he was waiting for extra orders to be able to proceed. So he knew a little bit, but not all of it, right? So, but what he did know was that the communication side of things, though, is that he necessarily didn't say the government, but communication would be disrupted, right? As in, like, wouldn't be able to talk to people, like cell phones, out, satellite down, right? Nobody on the grid anymore. Okay. Now, as far as that goes with the purge, like nobody's, everybody is every man for himself. Ain't nobody calling nobody. Like I say, you could try, but everything's shut down. It's over with. It's dead. You feel me? It's a wrap. You know what I mean? So you better get, the people that had the best advantage, was the people that lived outside of the city, out in the rural areas that had their own big plots of land, maybe like a farm. Even now, like we seen in reality, people getting bunkers, right? These higher ups, they getting bunkers, right? What's that's all about? You feel me? Like what's going on there? Why they getting bunkers? Huh? We ain't really looking at it like that. Some of us are. I'm not saying everybody is though, but why they getting bunkers? What's really going on? Why do they need bunkers? Think about that. Come on now. Why do they need bunkers? What are they hiding from? What are they trying to protect themselves from? Right. So like they take away the communication. So that's the first thing. Secondly, is what I mentioned before is with the isolation. We'll be yawning right there. With the isolation, where they were isolate the people, right? So with the purge, either you isolate yourselves from just the mass, right? Even though you might be with like maybe a little small group, but you're not going to work. You know what I mean? None of that going on. You're away from the big city environment, and if you're around it, it's chaos. It's chaos in there. You know what I mean? If you're around it, it's chaos. It's crazy, right? Isolating. And in the isolation, though, one part that I did want to bring up, though, was when Ruth was talking to, I think her name was Amanda, in the Leave the World Behind. Ruth asked Amanda, "Why are you so angry all the time?" Because Ruth, then, based on her vibe, she could sense it, though, because she did the work, as in she looked within. She did her own shadow work, right? So I want to touch on shadow work. She was asking her why she was always angry all the time, and then Amanda brought up that she was always angry all the time was because of the places she worked at, right? She had to put on a mask to be able to work at this place because of the other mask she saw to the people she sold to. Right, so she was saying, she was in some form of sales, but based off of dealing with all these different types of people, and eventually it becomes the same, because if you deal with a certain amount of people, I've been in sales for 10. I was in sales for 10 years, and you see people are different, but you start to see a pattern of different people, but you see the same roles in different bodies, if that makes sense, though. So we all connected in a way. But she was saying she became like those people where, she was like, I eventually had to lie to sell certain products to these people. You know what I mean? And so she was telling us about how she hasn't done the shadow work. You know what I mean? She's just doing it just because she's trying to get by. You know what I mean? And I feel like that in reality, we all, to an extent, we all are trying to get by right now. You know what I mean? Sometimes the society doesn't allow us to get by. You know what I mean? It doesn't allow us to even have time to pause, because Amanda was very angry. I mean, angry. You can see her thoughts spinning, always thinking about something. Got to do this, got to do that. Always now, right? Never really had time to have that discernment and do the shadow work within, right? Because in the darkness, I believe you find the light. So you have to go within first, which is the shadow work, which is essentially just the ego, the darkness that we all have within us, and seeing what that is, and seeing if you want to deal with that. You know what I mean? Some people can't really deal with that. Some people don't know how to deal with their own darkness. So with that isolation, it might make them go a little, it might make them become a little uneasy, right? If you cannot be able to deal with that shadow work, right? But when she touched on that, though, that was a big thing. I thought that was a big role within the movie, and that Ruth touched on with Amanda, and Amanda just brought up that very authentic answer, and that was the first time both of them was actually able to have some kind of common ground right there, though, right? So as far as that, it was the communication, the isolation. The last thing GH brought up was the Civil War. So once the people take off the communication, can't be able to talk. So the other day they took down TikTok, right, for a little bit. First of all, they say they was gonna do it on the 19th. They did it the day before. In my opinion, that shows some level of control. It was like, hey, we can be able to do it anytime we want to. You know what I mean? Like, we say we do it this day, but really we can do it this day. You know what I mean? And it's really getting us away from, our authentic selves, and being able to, have communicate with each other outside of these platforms, right? But and you saw like the whole world. We all, it was almost like we almost shut down. Everybody's going crazy. I gotta have TikTok. Do you? Do you? I mean, TikTok is nice. There's a lot of information on there. A lot of truth has been exposed on there. But I think we're about to be. I think we're going into a new world where we're about to be shocked, and I believe these movies can be able to kind of show us what we might be going into. Because I feel like a lot of these movies be desensitizing us to the future, right? But this is just only for entertainment purposes only, right? This is all just speculation, okay? This is all just speculation, okay? Now. But yeah, the third one would be Civil War, right? It talked about Civil War. So earlier I mentioned martial law, and this is what GH said, though. You know what I mean? So the first one, what they'll do is they'll disrupt communication, they'll isolate us, and then we'll go into a civil war. So with that Civil War being said, we've mentioned a lot of stuff about war, potential World War III. All this speculation, you look at the news overseas, Russia's telling their people to get out of America, you know what I mean? A lot of folks saying to get away from here, right? Why are they saying that? You know what I mean? Why are they saying that? Let's be real. Like, why are they saying that? And in the movie of Leave the World Behind, they had GH and one of his friends, I forget who his friend was. He went to go see a guy in the movie to help him out, and he was his friend before that stuff happened. But then in this one scene, he had his shotgun out ready to shoot him because it's a new world. So he stated. The guy said hey, back then it was cool, but now it's something different. I gotta save mine. Now we're becoming selfish, right? Forget the person next door to me. Forget the dude across the street from me. I knew him in the good old days, but this ain't the good old days. This is a new world. This is a new world they're talking about. So he had the shotty ready to put it to his body. Right? Are we good? Are we going towards that? Is that what we doing? Is that what we doing? I don't know. So So that was some very key points that I found within these movies, because even the Purge, it's like that. You know what I mean? It's straight out war for one day, chaos, crazy. And folks okay with it. Folks normalizing it. That's really the thing, is we normalizing this stuff. We normalizing this. Think about these folks. Think about it. Come on now. And where the love at? It's a lot of lack of. A lot of lack of. A lot of lack of loving our neighbor. Right? We're very selfish as a whole, as a collective. So there's some things I just wanted to point out though with that, man. So as far as the shadow work goes and those three things GH talked about, I think being in nature too, it has an advantage. Like I brought up earlier about the people that had the advantage in these settings was the people with land, being able to grow their own produce, just having land to themselves. I mean, like, acres of land, to be able to roam, farm, essentially. Just being in nature, because I feel like we have veered away from nature. Because if you study nature, you'll find the essence of reality. Right? You will find reality when you study nature. Right? Because nature, root word is natural, right? You get natural nature. You know what I mean? And we'll start to see the essence of life if we study nature. Right? And when we become one with nature, what did I say earlier? Become one with nature. Nature becomes with one. I don't know. It sounded philosophical when I said it in my head earlier though. But you get the picture though. Okay, so nature, we become one with nature, and then within the movie Leave the World Behind, these animals were kind of giving hints to these people. It was deer, not just, well, actually it was deer and flamingos, right? The deer, I mean, it was like a gang of the deer. It was like 100+ deer, that would just be looking and staring. They'll walk up to them and just be like, "Hey, something going on." They just walk up, not scared at all. It's really crazy. And it's crazy. I saw a deer today. Actually, it came out the woods. I was going to the gym this morning. Came out the woods. It looked right, and I might have saw it 50 yards down before I got to it. Looked left, looked right. Then he just went across the road. I'm like, okay, that's odd. Now that I'm thinking about it, that was kind of interesting how I saw a deer this morning though. It's very interesting though. That was way before I watched the movie too. I watched Leave the World Behind today, this afternoon for the first time. But that was actually kind of odd though. But yeah, I think we need to become one with nature and start studying nature a little bit more though, and just picking up on that, right? But with that being said though, these two movies, they're very close to reality. I feel like they give a lot of hints too. And the last thing about Leave the World Behind, in the movie, there was a scene where Clay, which is Amanda's husband, the family of four, he went out to go to the store to go get help. But when he was out on the way, he found a Hispanic woman, spoke Spanish, couldn't help her. He didn't help her because he didn't understand her. Once he left her, there was a plane flying towards him overhead, and at first it looked like it's just dropping it's like red stuff. I'm like, what's being dropped from this plane? Just red little. I'm thinking it's like I don't know what I thought it was at first though, but then essentially I'm like, is this notes? Are these red notes? And those red notes that was dropping hundreds of thousands of red notes from this plane, and he picked one up. You know what I mean? He picked one up, and when he brought it back to the family, the son was like, "Oh, death to America." Like off rip, he knew what it was. Death to America, with this red note. Hundreds of thousands of notes being dropped out by this plane. I'm thinking it's like a crop duster or something like that. So I'm like, what they about to be in quarantine over here. I don't know what they about to do though, but, and it was this, it was Death Note with this red note. I said Death Note. That's a whole different show. But it was this red note with a dragon on it, and it's like Chinese letters or symbols saying, or hieroglyphs, whatever you want to call it, saying "Death to America." So if y'all haven't seen these, y'all should go watch them. I think it was very good. Very thought provoking movies, very interesting movies. Like I said, get your wheels turning, makes you think. But what do y'all think though? Y'all think this is like a guide to what we're about to step into? Like a hint? See, they even say it in the movie. Like it might be a little warning, like a little foreshadow. What y'all think in the comments? Let me know. But until then, like I said, this is the first Monday movie series of the Purge collection and the Leave the World Behind. Look forward to keeping this series going. So look forward to it next Monday. Hey, y'all take care and peace.